When crayon production started in America back in the 1900s, lots of different companies competed for the incredibly lucrative art supplies and schools market. However, one company emerged as the market leader in 1903. Almost 120 years later, they are still at the top of the orange tree. Everyone who has ever used crayons knows the Crayola brand, and the name itself was coined by Mrs. Alice Binney, the wife of one of the company's founders. According to a statistic, the Crayola company produces an average of 3 billion crayons per year. That's 8 million crayons per day. Just to give you an idea of how large that number is, if you were to lay these crayons side by side, they would be enough to go around the world 6 times. Crayon production has developed a lot in the past 120 years. In the 1900s, you could only get crayons in 8 different colors. Fast forward to today, and that number has gone from 8 to 120 dazzling colors. But how are they made? Crayons are made from a material called paraffin, a waxy substance derived from wood, coal, or petroleum. Not only is paraffin compatible with a large number of pigments, but it's also non-toxic and safe for use, making it perfect to make crayons with. It also has what is called a nice rub-off, meaning that it leaves enough wax on the paper. Paraffin is delivered to the crayon factory in liquid form. Delivery trucks must maintain a warm enough temperature to keep the paraffin from hardening. Paraffin becomes liquid at about 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 degrees Celsius. The next crucial material in crayon production is the pigments that give the crayons their color. Because paraffin will not mix with water or water mixtures, the pigments are in powdered form, although they may have been made from a water mix and then dried. Pigments are made by suppliers following formulas dictated by the crayon manufacturer. Individual pigments are made of chemicals mixed together in wooden tanks and forced through filters to remove excess water, leaving chunks of the individual pigments. The pigments are then kiln dried for several days. After drying, the chunks of pigment are mixed according to the formula for the desired color, pulverized into a powder, and blended for color consistency. The mixes are sent to the crayon factory. Over the past 10 years, additional ingredients have been added to crayons. One of the most popular is glitter, small pieces of reflective material that make the crayon-produced work shine as it catches and reflects random beams of light. Perfumes and other scents can also be added to the mix. To kick off production, paraffin is heated in large industrial boilers at around 82 degrees Celsius until it turns into a liquid. The temperature and heating time are precisely controlled to ensure the safety and quality of the process. The paraffin is then transferred into huge silos which can hold up to 65,000 liters, more than the maximum takeoff weight of the Sikorsky King Stallion, one of the biggest helicopters in the world. If you think this is too huge an amount, remember that a typical crayon factory uses this much in just a day. Because paraffin is a flammable material, strict caution is exercised to ensure safe storage. Workers handling paraffin usually do so while wearing breathing masks to avoid inhalation of fine particles. Paraffin is moved from the storage towers to mixing kettles, where it is mixed with clay. Not only does this give the crayons more strength, but it also acts as a filler, boosting the number of crayons the wax will produce, making the whole process that much more cost-effective. After that, various synthetic chemicals are added to the mix. There's one to prevent the mixture from sticking to the mold. Additionally, stearic acid is also added to increase rub-off. Finally, powdered pigments are added to the mixture. These are of the highest quality to ensure vibrancy and consistency of colors. Keep in mind that all the ingredients added to the mixture so far are non-toxic. The mixture inside the kettles is kept at a consistent temperature to ensure that the pigments are completely mixed with the paraffin. The mixture is also thoroughly stirred to ensure an even distribution of color. Once the wax and pigment mixture is well blended, it is pumped into a device called a rotary machine. To keep the paraffin from hardening, the temperature is controlled. The device first injects the wax into molds. These molds can vary in size and shape, depending on the type of crayon being produced. The molds may be of metal or silicone and are designed to create the familiar cylindrical shape of a crayon. Cool water envelops the molds. hardening the wax inside them within 60 seconds. The cooling process is crucial for the crayons to maintain their shape and structural integrity. As the wax solidifies, it captures the color pigments, resulting in the final vibrant hues of the crayons. The wax at the top of the molds is scraped off with a specialized blade that can be recycled and used in the production of new crayons, reducing waste in the manufacturing process. Just one rotary machine produced 2,700 crayons in each of its cycles. With several rotary machines working in unison, a typical factory produces 30,000 crayons every hour. After cooling, the crayons are automatically pushed out of the molds and inspected. Inspectors examine each crayon for breaks and chips, as well as signs of bubbles in the cooled crayon, a condition that occurs if mixing has not been complete. Rejected crayons are returned to the tubs for remelting and recasting. In the early days of crayon manufacture, an entire factory floor might be devoted to the production of a single crayon for a day or more. Following that color's molding, machines would be cleaned and a new color would be made. In today's factory, the demand for crayons is so huge and the number of different crayons so great, easily more than 100, that individual vats and molds are dedicated to only one or only a few colors, and the production lines run day and night. After the molding and inspection process is complete, a conveyor transports the crayons to the labeling machine. One by one, they drop into the grooves of a revolving drone. At the bottom left, glue coats the surface in between the grooves, just before the crayons go in. The machine then slaps a label onto each crayon. A roller then presses the label against the adhesive. Then a small arm wraps it around the crayon. This machine can label 8,500 crayons per hour. To reach the daily production quota for the factory, several of these machines are used. Quality control is a critical aspect of crayon production. Therefore, a final check takes place just before packaging. Random samples from each batch are tested for color accuracy, hardness, and other specifications. This ensures that the crayons meet the desired standards and that any defects are identified and addressed before packaging. Once the crayons pass quality control, they are ready for packaging. Crayons are typically packaged in cardboard boxes or plastic containers, and the packaging may include additional information, such as color names, usage instructions, and safety warnings. The packaging process is automated, with machines counting and sorting crayons before placing them in their final packaging. Packaged crayons are then prepared for distribution. They are boxed and palletized for shipment to retailers, schools, and other distribution points. This stage involves logistics coordination to ensure that the crayons reach their destinations in a timely and cost-effective manner. Well, that marks the end of the journey of a crayon. If you want to know how asphalt is made, please watch the video on the screen and please like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with someone that may be interested. Also subscribe to this channel by activating the notifications to continue learning. Thanks for watching.